And it's a trait that he's honoured to say yes all the time. So let's say yes to the gentleman who's going to be the 2025 golden recipient of the Book of Golden Deeds, Colin Krieger.
Yeah. My friend.
All right, I won't be shy. I'll try to keep it long-winded. Before I make any self-deprecating jokes or tease about anything, this is the highest honor I've ever conceived of in Columbus. And I've thought that way, I think, is Glenn still here? 2010, is that when you got it?
Correct.
That's when I first became aware of the award. And I am the most sung of the unsung heroes. So I didn't expect this for 10 or 15 years. And when I think of when I was sitting here earlier, and I wasn't suspicious till I saw Holly here, honestly. Because if Holly's usually out working, and so if I saw him here, I was like, well, I saw Mike walking in, and like maybe he wanted to come hear me talk about the Sports Hall of Fame coming April 19th, or the St. Patty's event, or whatever else we got going on in my little folder there. But when I saw Holly, I knew the fix was on, because Holly is my neighbor. He's a good guy. But in a self-deferential way, I couldn't think of better honors than the last 5 people on that list, because a lot of times when people are like, they're giving me silly awards, no offense to WCBI, I don't know if the dispatch is here, when they keep giving me these awards for getting attention and helping people, you know, the people I say are, man, you gotta call Steve, because Steve's out there washing people's feet in the Christ-like sense. I hope you're not doing that really. Or you're like John Allman with unreasonable goals, completely unreasonable things like starting a dream center. I was sitting at that table with him at the Great Foundation when he brought that up in a room full of dreamers, and we were like, yeah, crazy. And it's working incredibly well. Of course, my friend Doug Pelham, the hardest working man in show business.
Right.
And Josie Shoemaker, who I keep nominating for every award I can find. I'm glad you got something. And Rhonda Sanders, my buddy. Rhonda gets a C. Rhonda and I both get a lot of attention. I'm glad Rhonda's gotten her due the last couple of years. But there's so much stuff that doesn't need attention, so many house fires and little things like that that get fixed. And I've known Rhonda now we were talking about that. There are no other cops left. Chad Bell's the last cop. No other was at the Columbus Packet.
He's retiring tomorrow.
Not retired yet. So and I think Rhonda might be the only recipient younger than me. I just turned 50 to get this, and you're 37, right?
Oh, yeah.
She has done 28 years of service in law enforcement. She started at age 8. It's actually pretty impressive.
Right.
And my wife and I, my wife's sick today. I don't know if she knew about this or not, or if she just didn't want to say anything. She's been through a ton the last 5 years, but she is the impetus behind why I started doing all this stuff. When we moved here after Katrina, we were blown away at how welcome everyone made us here. And when we made a decision, we'll say now 13 years ago, we bought our house downtown. That was the decision whether we were staying or not. I've had a lot of options to leave, a lot of chances to go. A lot of it is probably because my neighbors are a little loud. Like from Holland and Mary Beth. But, you know, we could have gone back to New Orleans. She had family in New York. We have family over there. Sorry about your flag. And we chose to stay. We've chosen Columbus over and over again because of the giving people in this town. We're just blown away by it. I think it seems like forever. 10 years ago, Mike Davis introduced me to Doug Pelham at Zachary's. Since then, we've done almost 90 events just at Zachary's.
Wow.
We were best buddies right away, and Mike's first comment, he's like, you gotta meet this guy. Doug had actually sponsored stuff for him, but never did anything. You know, we literally had never met. And he's like, man, I wanna do something for St. Patrick's Day. You got an idea? And I pulled out my book of ideas, which is always handy with me. And we came up with the St. Patrick's Day party thing, which has turned into a huge event. I'm gonna take a caveat here real quick. So Doug and I were sitting down a couple weeks ago, and sometimes, like, what I like to do is shine a light on people and brag on other people. And that's why I get credit for more stuff than I deserve. I will take a picture of Steve serving food and loaves of fishes, and people will be like, thanks, Colin. And you're like, I took a picture of Bill cleaning up Main Street, and I think I got credit for it that time. And like, that's okay, but the people everybody deserves attention. That's my current motto, if you want that. It has nothing to do with real estate. There's just so many great people in this community that deserve it. So back to Doug. We were sitting a couple days ago, and it was about 2 weeks ago, and we're thinking Doug had added up what the fundraisers had done there and stuff. And so we came up with a total. We know the total. We're like, how many fundraisers have we done that we ran, that we created? Not that we were on a board or committee or did a sponsorship. And that number crossed $1 million. I'm not telling you that because it crossed $1 million.
That's good
Is
stuff.
that both of us said that we present a way where you can, how do you share that? How do you talk about that? Because you're talking about other people trusting you with $1 million.
That's it.
Essentially, for people who passed away or house fires or things like that. So I would like you to take any pride or energy you have in the community and direct it towards Doug now. Doug's wife has cancer. It's pretty serious. You're not going to see him as much at work. But our discussions since then have been about that. Not that Doug needs a fundraiser, or I need a fundraiser, or anything like that, but this is the time, and I said this about Mr. John when he had an incident a couple of years ago. The community needs to give the love back to people like that. Doug got this award. It's the only time I've ever seen Doug cry, and this is probably the only time most of y'all have seen me cry, unless the Saints win the Super Bowl again, if y'all could make some calls about that. I honestly wasn't suspicious about getting an award today until I saw the committee, and then I saw that Mary Beth was on there and Leanne Moore, and I was like, well, they may think the fix is on. But so y'all just pray for Doug in this time of need, because he's still continuing to convert still. Every day we get asked about a new fundraiser, a new thing. And I have a bag full of stuff I need to talk about to all of you if you want to get involved with that thing. If I can ever help you. My wife truly, when we first moved to this town, just said we need to do this. And by the way, Brian, Trudy, your mom was incredible. My wife was president of the Arts Council board for a while. We did a big fundraiser there. And I know how many times Trudy and you came in to rescue the Arts Council, and probably the only reason it's still standing today. And the amount of times I've looked at boards, and I'm always real critical of people when they're going, well, I never see anybody at this fundraiser or whatever. For almost every organization in this room, I've seen your books or I've seen your checkbooks, and I know where the checks come from the quiet people. And some of them I've had to pry out of their group, out of their little groove where they want to be quiet. A good example is Scott Ferguson of Financial Concepts. Because he has another charitable arm, the Rowdy Foundation, that deserves credit. But that guy writes a check. I have a group of super friends that any of you can get on, if you'd like to get on the list, that I can text when Rhonda says I need $2,000 and they don't ask what it's for. Mr. John's one of those, Doug's one of those, a real estate broker sitting there, Mike Davis is on there, where I don't have to explain. And that kind of trust is as important to me as this award, that people, that I can tell them, like, we got somebody who needs something. So,
That's it.
And they respond. And that's what I've just been overwhelmed with this community over and over again. For a small town in 10 years to come up with $1 million for other people.
Wow.
You know, they always say the South is the most generous spot, but Columbus has just blown me away.
Blow you away.
Congratulations to the former winners of it. Again, Rhonda Sanders, you've done a lot at your right young age of 38 to get it. And,
35.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much.